laws of Honorable Raila Odinga to sustain his government, to keep it in power. All I was doing when I was in Meru, I was not in any way threatening the president. I was just telling him a statement of fact. 90% of the people of Meru are through with him. The remaining 10%, if he goes ahead to remove Martha Koome as Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, he will lose the other 10%. So I was telling him, there is no need for you to come to Meru anymore, because people, they will not be hostile, they'll be cold and indifferent.
So what happens if other leaders actually tell you, regarding Gachagua, you can't step in our region?
I'm not saying I didn't, I just gave him advice. I said, I did not even say he shouldn't. I said, if you remove Martha Koome. You know, I'm not saying he has not removed her. I said, Mr. President, you are planning with your deputy, the Mr. Yesa, because they are working together. And Mr. Yesa has been given the responsibility to make sure Martha Koome is out of the job. And in fact, the meeting that was held, and I've come to get the content, is that the president argues that Mount Kenya East cannot have the presidency and a head of judiciary at the same time. Because Mr. Yesa is in the presidency and Martha Koome is in the judiciary, the president has told Mr. Yesa, if Martha Koome is not removed so that we can take this seat to another region, you will have to go yourself. So you must make sure that Martha Koome is out. In fact, that is a responsibility has been given. All these things that are going on, the petitions, the JSC, it is Mr. Yesa who is coordinating to save his job. Because the president is clear that you cannot have the presidency in Mount Kenya East and also have the president of the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice in the same area. And now I was saying, I am not threatening the president. I cannot threaten. I just told him the truth. I am a truthful man. I was in Meru. Mr. President, you have hatched a scheme with your deputy to remove Martha Koome as Chief Justice. If you succeed, and he can succeed because he was able to remove a deputy president who is elected by 7.2 million Kenyans. So the one for Chief Justice is even much easier. Once you do that, your relationship with the people of Meru is irreparably damaged. And there is no need for... The institution of the presidency is very important for this country. And is a symbol of national unity. And the president should be able to go everywhere in the country and get good reception. When people start refusing to listen to condolence messages from our president, it really demeans the institution of the presidency. I would one day want to be president. I would want that institution to be held in high esteem. So it is also my duty as a citizen. It is civic duty. Where I find the institution of the presidency will be demeaned by acts of the president, to advise him to think twice of removing Justice Martha Koome. Again, I also want to advise him, please stop disbanding the Supreme Court. It is not good for the country. It will create problems. People will have serious doubts about the 2027 general elections, because if you put a bench that you have crafted, you already start going to the elections with a lot of doubts. And once people don't believe a process will be fair, we start on bad footing, and that is not good for the country.
So let me ask you this, and perhaps just to quote the words of the current Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, who you're referring to as Mr. Yesa, perhaps reflecting on the headlines on The Standard. He said this in response to your statements in Meru. He questioned who defends the judges who may be innocent but do not have ethnic godfathers, perhaps hinting that, you know, the judiciary is apolitical. Politicians shouldn't perhaps interfere with the runnings of this independent arm.
Mr. Yesa cannot have a different opinion. He is an employee of President William Ruto. President William Ruto wants to remove Martha Koome and the other 6 judges from the Supreme Court. So his work is to defend, but automatically.
But the question...
But I'm asking, he is trying to say that my defense of Martha Koome is ethnic. I want to ask Mr. Yesa, When I said that the Director General of the National Intelligence Service is incompetent, members of the Somali community came out with fury to defend him. I never heard Mr. Yesa say that that is ethnicity. When ODM members threatened to remove Speaker Moses Wetangula, members of the Luhya Nation from Western Kenya came out in numbers to defend Moses Wetangula. I never heard Mr. Yesa say anything. But when the people of Mount Kenya see that there is a problem here and one of our own is being victimized, then he says it's his ethnicity. Yet himself is one of us. But
two wrongs don't make a right.
But I am saying, that's what all communities do. The Somali community have defended their own. The Luhya people have defended their own. There is nothing wrong with Rigathi Gachagua defending his sister. And because our MPs and senators have been compromised by President William Ruto that they cannot speak for one of their own, Mr. Yesa cannot see anything different from what he has been told by this employer. Somebody must speak also for the mountain people. Okay. And I really have no apologies because I'm not the only one. When the Somalis defended their own, nobody raised an issue. When the Westerners defended their own, nobody raised an issue. And this is what is happening, Rogers, in this country. That the only people who cannot defend their own are the Mount Kenya people. It is called tribalism. But when other communities defend their own, or when they take a particular position, they are called tribalists. I saw the CS Interior saying that defending Mother Kome on my part is tribalism. Yet, 2 months before, when President William Ruto was had a lot of attack from all corners for mismanaging the country, that CS said that the president was being attacked because he's a Kalenjin. So I want to say, this profiling of the Mount Kenya people must come to an end. The Mount Kenya people, like any other community, have a right to defend their people. They have a right to articulate their issues. They have a right to say what is good for them and what is not good for them. And I want to ask the Mount Kenya people not to be apologetic about who they are. None of us made an application to go to be born where we were, where we were born. That is God's decision. And we must be allowed as a people to have our own identity and to articulate our issues like all other communities do.
So tell me this, and perhaps it's interrelated. What's the progress of your impeachment case in the corridors of justice? And equally, do you foresee an instance where you'll appeal all the way to the Supreme Court?
I don't know. My lawyers will deal with it. By the way, I'm really list both about the impeachment and those matters in court.
Is there any progress on that case?
Yeah, we did file an appeal in the Court of Appeal. Because we were not satisfied with the bench, the three-judge bench that was constituted by the Deputy Chief Justice, because the Constitution says she doesn't have such powers. But the judges ruled that they should go ahead, and we did appeal to the Court of Appeal. Today the matter was in court, and the Court of Appeal listened to our arguments and gave an order staying the proceedings before the High Court until the matter is heard. The matter is determined. So our lawyers are dealing with that matter. That's our lawyers. I am myself on another assignment, a very important assignment of crafting a new political strategy and joining the other people of Kenya to work out a mechanism of how to get this country back on track, how to make sure that we bring in a new government that will observe the rule of law, a government that will not abduct and kill our children, a government that will not make corruption the official government policy, a government that will listen to the people and that will not just be doing things with impunity. That, to me, is my focus. Whether I am cleared of the impeachment tag or not, it's neither here nor there.
So what do you tell those people who smell a rat in your defense of Chief Justice Martha Koome, that perhaps you're foreseeing such a scenario where the Supreme Court, this very same judges, might be dispensing of your case?
I don't think Mother Koome sat in the High Court where I don't think I got justice. She didn't sit there.
Okay.
It's other judges who sat there. And I don't know whether the matter will ever get to the Supreme Court or not. But I've told you that matter to me is a very small matter.
Okay.
And it does not inform my thinking.
All right.
And I am just concerned about this country, that it is irresponsible to allow the president to disband the Supreme Court. It's not good for the country. It will create a constitutional crisis. Again, it will make Kenyans lose faith in the entire electoral process. Because if the president succeeds and disbands the Supreme Court and installs his own judges in the Supreme Court, then this country is going down to the dogs.
All right.
The level of impunity will be in acceptable levels, and the president will have succeeded to capture the entire Kenyan state. He has captured the parliament as it is. He has captured the opposition. Now, if he captures the judiciary,
okay,
we are done.
All right. Yeah. Let's shift focus to other matters, because just today, the broad-based partners, President William Ruto and Raila Odinga, had a presser, a conference, a meetup at State House in Mombasa, and we definitely saw the dalliance between these two leaders. In Kenya, we've seen this statement manifesting that there are no permanent friends or enemies in politics, only interests align. Are you open to working with Raila Odinga, the broad-based partner of President William Ruto?
I am open to working with anybody who means well for this country. And I want to take this opportunity to tell the supporters of Raila Odinga from Nyanza that they should not fight the mountain people, because we are not their enemies at all. We have a problem with President William Ruto. We have no problem with Raila Odinga and ODM. I saw after Raila Odinga lost the AUC elections, some people from Rift Valley, supporters of the president, and some supporters of Raila Odinga trying to blame the mountain people for the loss by the very simple fact some 6-7 women in Karatina Market had celebrated the loss. First and foremost, the Mount Kenya people did not have a vote at the AUC. In fact, our only participation in that election as people of Mount Kenya is that the man we made president had a vote. And if he did vote for Raila Odinga, as he says,
okay,
then the people of Mount Kenya supported the candidature of Raila Odinga. We have no problem with Raila Odinga. I've had a lot of consultations with the people from the mountain. In fact, I have done almost 400 meetings in the last 4 months.
And we'll get to that.
And the people of that area have asked me to look for friends. And we are open to working with anybody who means well for this country. You know?
But we're talking about a man you decampaigned vigorously in the previous election. A man who mobilized his MPs to vote against you due to the impeachment.
The voting against me by ODM people is neither here nor there. The person who orchestrated the impeachment is William Ruto. That's the person we have a problem with. He deceived the ODM people the way he deceived all us in the mountain. And for the record, we, for many years, had problems with Raila Odinga because he had been demonized as somebody who is against the mountain people. In 2020, President Uhuru Kenyatta convinced us that Raila Odinga is a good man. But President William Ruto, then Deputy President, convinced us that Raila is a bad man, he's a witch doctor, he is a lot of poverty, he means bad for this country, and William Ruto admittedly was more persuasive than Uhuru Kenyatta.
But you're on record saying this.
No, I'm just saying,
come on.
He persuaded us, and after he became president, he looked for Raila Odinga and he said he's a good man. So, Raila Odinga has been claimed by everybody. President Uhuru Kenyatta said he's a good man. William Ruto, who told us he's a witch doctor, who told us he's a lot of poverty, who told us he has no plan, who told us he is rudderless, who told us he's planless, today is singing praises for him as the best leader, not just for Kenya, but for Africa. So, we refused to vote for Raila Odinga, not because he was a very bad man, but William Ruto convinced us he's bad.
Okay.
Again,
okay.
I must say that Raila Odinga was a victim of our community's distaste for betrayal. We felt that Uhuru Kenyatta had betrayed William Ruto by looking for Raila Odinga. So because we hate betrayal, we decided to punish Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta at the same time. But still 1.1 million people from our region voted for Raila Odinga. But now that William Ruto has betrayed us, knowing very well that he is a beneficiary of our community's distaste for betrayal, we are through with him. So Raila Odinga is there.
Okay.
He has not betrayed us. He has not done anything so grave, you know, that in our view makes it impossible for us to work together. But I have heard him say that he's going to consult very widely and he'll say the way forward. If he wants to be president, he can talk to us. We don't have a problem. And I also want to tell Raila Odinga and his supporters, I know I am not qualified to advise him, but from my working with President William Ruto, myself and my community, let them be very careful. I have heard them promise him to be prime minister. That is a lie, it's conmanship. There is no such position available in this country because it's not there in the constitution. For you to create the position of prime minister, it means you have to change the structure of government. You would have to go for a referendum.
Yes.
Today, if there is a referendum, it will be a referendum against the leadership of President William Ruto. And you will lose in the morning. So that position of prime minister is not available.
So who's playing who?
No, William Ruto is playing Raila Odinga. Let me tell you. There is no such position. So it's just a con. Number two, I think to be fair to Raila Odinga, I think he has risen above that position of prime minister. The man has wanted to be president 5 times. He now wanted to be the chairman of the African Union Commission. I think taking him back to the position of prime minister is a bit demeaning. In my view, the former prime minister has 2 options, in my view. I cannot advise him. I cannot pretend I have the capacity to advise him. He either retires in dignity or he goes for the presidency. Because there's no way you can ask for the presidency for 5 times and then you demean yourself, you want to become a prime minister. No. I think that will be very, very demeaning. But again, finally,
yes.
I want to ask my brother, President William Ruto. Now that you say this man is a witch doctor, he's the Lord of poverty, he is the real problem of this country, you have changed your mind, you are saying he's the best for Africa, he means well for this country. Why don't you, if you are genuine, consider to do 1 term and endorse him to be president in the next election, if you really genuine that this man is so good, this man can sort out this country. Okay. If really that is from the bottom of your hand, of your heart, since you have done 5 years, you are going to do 5 years and you have not done very well, why don't you consider to allow this man to be president? So what I would like to say is that in my discussions with people, we have, by the way, I must tell you in those discussions, if you want me to tell you.
And we'll get to that.
We'll get there.
Yes.
But I'm saying we are not opposed to working with Raila Odinga.
You're willing to support?
Already we are working with Kalonzo Musyoka.
Okay.
We are working with Eugene Wamalwa. We are working with Fred Matiang'i. We are working with Eugene Wamalwa. We are working with all like-minded Kenyans. If Raila Odinga does not make a decision to destroy his legacy and support President William Ruto and decides to join the rest of Kenyans in trying to liberate our country and get it back in the right footing, and calls upon us for a discussion on the possibility of working together in whatever formation.
You're open to that?
We are open to that discussion. We are not selfish people. Okay. By the way, myself and my community on record having supported somebody else. William Ruto, he's not one of us. Today he's calling us tribalists, despite the fact that we supported him, knowing very well he's not one of us.
Okay.
And because we are not tribal, we supported him, and he became president, we also are amiable and ready, if need be, to support another person, maybe it Raila ODINGA, maybe it Kalonzo, maybe Wamala. We can support anybody, and whoever we decide to support. And take it from me today, and you'll ask me 2 years from now. Whoever we decide to support, we have two options. We can have our own candidate from the mountain, and we are good. If we decide for whatever reason that it's better to support somebody else, whoever we decide to support, that will be the next president of the Republic of Kenya.
Okay, time will tell. You said you're open to working with like-minded individuals.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you had a meeting with former President Uhuru Kenyatta? Did you bury the hatchet? Because there's some who still point fingers at you, blaming you for the push and pull after the current Kenya Kwanza administration came to office, that perhaps the raid at his farm might have been orchestrated by Gachagua. Have you had a meeting with the former head of state ever since you were impeached?
You know, Uhuru Kenyatta is my elder brother. I was his PA, and he's our leader as a community.
Okay.
It is inappropriate for me to discuss him in public because I'm a junior elder in the community, he's a senior elder, and discussions of elders in our community is a preserve of that community.
We're just asking if you met him. Come on.
What I'm saying
Yeah.
is that Uhuru Kenyatta is our brother, our son, and our leader. And he's retired, and we respect his status and his retirement. But when we need advice from him as a community, it's always available.
So let me rephrase the question. What do you tell those who see former President Uhuru Kenyatta's hand in the appointment of Uhuru's men, as they're commonly referred to? Some of the CSs we saw recently appointed, Mutahi, Kagwe, Ngunyi.
There's no problem whether Uhuru had a hand or no hand. It, to me, is irrelevant. And he's a Kenyan. If he proposes some people to be appointed and they are appointed, so be it. What is important for us, especially for the mountain, is that those appointments amounted to nothing, because they were meant to pacify the region that is very unhappy with the President William Ruto for deceiving them, for mismanaging the economy, and for destroying leaders in the region. And immediately they were appointed, there was a saying among our people, that even if you revive Mwai Kibaki, Jomo Kenyatta, and Dedan Kimathi, nothing would change. So we are really not bothered. Let them go and work. They have been given a job to do. Let them go and do the job that were given to do. We wish them well. If they can make a change and people of Kenya are better off than they were before they were appointed, we appreciate. They are our sons. Right. And we don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why the delay in forming your political party? Because going by your own timelines, we were supposed to have that launch early this year. It was pushed, and now we expect that launch in May. Are you having challenges in registering?
No challenges at all.
Yeah.
I had, when I left office, the people of my region felt that we needed to consult on the way forward, because as a community we felt very bad. The community felt totally misused by President William Ruto. They felt deceived, and we needed to consult extensively. And as their leader, they asked me to do that consultation. And I did a lot of consultation, the whole of November, the whole of December. I had hoped that I would have completed the consultations, but I hadn't by the end of December. Very many people still wanted to come and see me. You have seen even in the whole of January and February, they have been coming. Again, when we started the consultations, I had thought it would be a Mount Kenya affair, but I had not appreciated the interest my leadership had created in the country. And many other Kenyans from all other regions also wanted to consult with me. And therefore, we had to extend our negotiations. But be as it may, our political party is ready. And for strategic reasons, I did not want to unveil it before. Because quite a number of our senators and members of parliament want to resign from UDA and join our new party and go for by-elections. So we thought, my people thought that for us to get the right momentum, it's better for us to launch the party when IBC is in place. I want to give that reason now, because I've got quite a number of people who are through with UDA. They don't want anything to do with UDA.
Just from the mountain?
Especially from the mountain, because the whole mountain has moved from UDA. By the way, UDA now is a shell. UDA was Rigiji at the mountain. Without Rigiji at the mountain, there's no UDA. There's no party there. And our members, our supporters, in fact, if you mention UDA, and you have found even the MPs who move around with the president, they don't talk about UDA. Even the president, they don't mention him on the ground. So we decided that we want to wait for the IBC to be constituted. Then we launch our party so that we pick up with the momentum. We'll have several by-elections. We have today, as of today, 139 MCAs who want to resign from UDA and go for by-elections. We have.
So you're going to force a by-election?
We are going to have a little.
Simply what you're saying.
We are going to force a little general election after IBC is constituted, because our people do not want to live a lie. The mountain people, my brother Rogers, are honest people. They are people of integrity, and they don't know how to pretend. When they are through with something, they are through. And when they want to move on, they want to move on. So we have senators, we have members of parliament, we have MCAs who cannot pretend that they are in UDA.
And are they the
and they will repeat what Raila did in 1994. And I admire Raila ODINGA because I remember 1994. He left Ford Kenya and went to NDP, and he resigned and he was re-elected. And since that time, his career has been very rosy. Even I'm encouraging my MCAs, MPs and senators, the ones who make that very brave decision, because that is very courageous. To leave a seat you have been elected, you resign and go back to the people. It's very courageous. But I want to assure them, the way I'm listening to our people, any leader who makes that decision will be re-elected without a doubt, with very serious majority. Number two, they will be heroes of our people. And their politics will be rosy for decades and decades to come. So that is one of the reasons why we have delayed. But I want to say our party is ready. Okay. And I want to correct, I have seen a lot of people trying to say that our party is for the region, for Mount Kenya. It isn't. It's a national party. By the way, I have a lot of people who are interested in joining our party. And the mountain will have a home in that party. But it's a national party for everybody. But that will be the home of the mountain. Just like ODM is a serious party, but is the home of the Nyanza people. Ford Kenya is a serious national party, but is also the home of people from Bungoma and Trans Nzoia. You know, Wiper is a national party, but is also the home of the people of Ukambani. Okay. That's the way politics move, because politics are local. And our interim national chairman is from Kajiado County. Our interim national organizing secretary is from Machakos. Our interim deputy party leader is from Kakamega. Our interim assistant national treasurer is from Kuria in Migori. Ours is a serious national party. I'm the party leader. Okay. It's a serious national party, but it's the home of the mountain, and that brings in serious numbers, which is good for the party. Because the mountain, you know, we have 6-7 million voters, so it's good for the party to have a base that is strong as part of the national movement. But we have very serious movement, we have very serious following in Kajiado, in Narok, in Samburu, in Kakamega, in Kisii. We are a serious national party.
But then tell me this, have you thought of the implications on the taxpayer if you instigate a by-election? Isn't that a selfish move?
It's not selfish at all. We just have to be honest. We don't want to pretend to belong where we don't feel comfortable. President William Ruto has hatched a plot to finish us as a people, to destroy our leaders, to destroy our businesses. We cannot pretend. The other day, he chased away our chairman of committees in the Senate and replaced them with ODM people. How do we then pretend? How does the senator of Nyandarua, who was a chairman of a committee, has been removed and replaced somebody from ODM, pretend that he loves UDA?
So to hell with the taxpayers because of these leaders.
There are many other things that money is being spent, and probably it is not a priority. So we are saying we need to fix our politics. There is no way you are going to chase away people who got you elected on UDA party and expect them to remain there to support you. They will not. Those people will move on and they'll go for a by-election and they'll be elected, they'll come back to parliament on another party that respects them. But you cannot mistreat people. You mistreat them, you treat them like rubbish, like toilet paper. They helped you be president, they helped you to form the government. Then you use that very government to punish them, to mistreat them, and then expect them to continue staying in UDA and pretending that they are very happy and that they love you and that they are comfortable. That is deceit. We don't want politics of deceit and comradeship.
Interesting. Let's go to Wamunyoro. We might not be in Wamunyoro, but the essence seems to be here. Because needless to say, you've managed to quickly convert your Wamunyoro home into a new center of power, meeting dignitaries, defectors, and planning your next move. But as we witness heightened activity in your Wamunyoro home, you've mentioned up to 400 meetings. That's in 4 months, so each month 100 meetings thereabout. Your critics argue that you're slowly reintroducing the culture of kingmaker in Mount Kenya region, that you would go to the lengths of decampaigning Mount Kenya political leaders. And mind you, it's not based on how they've served the people in their constituencies, in their counties. It's simply based on their political affiliation.
Well, to start with, there is no crime in being a kingmaker. Politics is about kingmaking. If Rigathi Gachagua and the mountain will be the kingmaker in the next election, so be it. There's nothing wrong. And by the way, we'll be king or kingmaker, either way. And there's nothing wrong about that. That is politics, and it's a practicality of Kenyan politics. Number two, there's nothing about Wamunyoro. Wamunyoro is just my home. It's simply I've shifted the base from the official residence of the Deputy President to Wamunyoro. I was removed from office, but my followers went with me. So I'm still a leader with a serious weight in the country. And that is why they troop to Wamunyoro. And nobody comes for money there. They bring food, they bring goats, they bring chicken, they bring bananas. They come to see their leader and consult with him. You know, William Ruto had cheated the MPs from Mount Kenya region that once I'm removed from office, in 2-3 weeks I'll be forgotten. I think he must be having a shock of his life because he didn't understand our people. He was not one of us. We elected him. At a certain point, he imagined he is the leader of the mountain. And I tried to talk to him. I thought, you are not the leader of the mountain. You are just a beneficiary of the mountain's people destined for betrayal. They just voted for you because they felt you had been betrayed. And because they hate betrayal, they voted for you and followed you, but you are not their leader. I'm their leader. And he couldn't take it. And he thought that he would get rid of me and life would just continue. But the entire mountain left with me and followed me to Wamunyoro. That's why you find the places a beehive of activities. The meetings you see in social media are the few that we report. There are many other meetings. You know ourselves, we are descendants of the Mau Mau struggle. We are very secretive people. We do meetings, many meetings have been done. And very serious decisions have been made by the community of how we proceed going forward.
What decisions are this?
One, the decisions have been made. One, that we are through with the President William Ruto for 5 reasons. One, he has betrayed the mountain. Number 2, he deceived us that he will work for us, he will do our projects, he will fix the economy, he'll make sure business is thriving. He has done the exact opposite. He has destroyed the health system. SHA is not working, patients are suffering. Today, the private hospitals have discontinued that program. The university financing model, he destroyed it. University students are at home.
Okay.
The economy is destroyed, over-taxation, destruction of business, evictions, demolitions. Really, you know, the country has come to a standstill. Again, another reason is that when the mountain started moving out from President William Ruto, he activated a criminal gang that was very notorious in the Mount Kenya region in circumcising women, beheading children, raping young girls. He activated that group in the mountain to cause problems, and the people are very bitter with that. Again, another issue that people are very bitter is the introduction of alcoholic illicit brews in the region that I, as Deputy President, had successfully dealt with. And because of those reasons, and the most recent one that has really, you know, annoyed the people of that region is his deliberate scheme to mobilize other communities against the mountain. You remember when he was in Mount Elgon, one of the MPs, one of his people, Wanyama, he told him to say that all other communities will gang up against the mountain people and isolate them. And since he spoke last, yet he claims every day that he's uniting the country, he never admonished him. You know, again, he has been using abusive language against the people of Kenya. That has really annoyed the people, calling people stupid, you know, saying they are possessed by demons, you know, and you know, lacking respect for the people. And the people who made him president, the mountain people, because their vote was very decisive, it was 43%. He has turned against them, so they are through with them. So what they have told me in those consultations is that we must be in the next government through 2 methods. One, to consolidate our votes to 8 million votes and look for other friends and have a presidential candidate from the mountain. If we find the numbers are okay, we proceed. If we find the numbers are not okay, because this politics is a game of mathematics, we are not selfish. We are willing to work with other people, you know. And Raila ODINGA has been mentioned as a possible person we can work with. Kalonzo Musyoka has been mentioned. Eugene Wamalwa has been mentioned. Mutembei has been mentioned. Even Matiang'i has been mentioned. And we are looking at all those options. And they have mandated me as their leader to continue engaging with everybody and come up with a formula, you know, where the mountain people will be in government through their political party. This time, you know, President William Ruto deceived me, and I joined him with my people without a political vehicle, and he shortchanged us, mistreated us, and he continues to do so. So we are going to have a political party with the mountain people and other Kenyans to engage everybody else.
All right.
And in fact, I was looking at it the other day with a few strategists from the region. And if we agree to support Kalonzo Musyoka, if we don't think we have the numbers, our first priority is that we are going to have a presidential candidate from the mountain. And we'll appeal to other Kenyans to support us. If we find it's not feasible, we'll support others. Kalonzo is an option. We looked at his numbers, our numbers and other numbers, and it's doable. Raila's is even more exciting, yeah, because Raila already has 6.8 million. We only beat him by 200,000 votes. If we agree to support him, we could. I told you it's a possibility. With the 6.8 plus our 6, I have looked at his voting pattern. He normally votes between 10 and 11 a.m. If we agree to support him, before he votes, he'll be president. That you can take to the bank.
Okay.
We are looking at the Mutembei nation.
Okay.
Their numbers are huge. a presidential candidate from the Mlembe Nation, supported by the Mlembe Nation when they are united. And I told them, I addressed them through the FM station. I said, Mlembe Nation, please unite. If the Mlembe Nation united and they have a candidate and we from the mountain supported them, they'll be president by 12 o'clock. The same with Matiang'i. So those are the discussions. Yep. And I want to confirm to the people of Kenya that we, the mountain people, are not selfish. We are very selfless. We will do anything for this country. If we feel that we need to support somebody else so that this country can be saved from the recklessness that is there, we will do it. We are on record that we have supported another candidate from another area, William Ruto, in a very difficult election, and he became president.
So can you support William Ruto again? Is that
no, William Ruto, we cannot support him. Okay. We are done with him. And it's also not good for the country.
Okay. I have to take you back because I asked you, yes, why are you making sure that you will decampaign members of parliament, not based on their track record, but because of their allegiance, their political allegiance?
I am not decampaigning anybody for whatever reason. The mountain people hate betrayal. Ask William Ruto, he's a beneficiary of the community's district for betrayal. But they are even more angry when they are betrayed by their own. The community has told me. It's not me, I don't have a problem. By the way, I'm a very forgiving man. I'm a very staunch Christian. My wife here is a pastor, and she talks to me about forgiveness all the time. And she doesn't allow me to have a bitterness. She makes sure that I'm always amiable and open to forgive anybody.
Okay.
All those people who were against me, I've forgiven them. But they were also against the community. They made sure the community is embarrassed. The community became the laughing stock of other communities. When other communities are rallying behind their own, them, for cheap money, they betray their own community. The community has an issue with them. It's not me. And if they come to me and persuade me that they'll work for the best interest of the community and the country, I am willing to take them along.
So if your people tell you
but they have
to work
a job
with President William Ruto,
but they have a job, the people have already told me they don't want. Okay. Already, I've consulted them and I asked them.
Okay.
I asked them, can I work with William Ruto? They said no. He has betrayed us. It's over.
That's it.
He cannot. We don't. You know, betrayal in my community is a taboo. It's an abomination. It is never forgiven. It is punished. And I can tell you, many people that I've talked to will come up will be on the queue at 3 a.m. not to vote for anybody, but to vote somebody out. So those MPs,
yeah,
let them go and talk to the people, not me. I have no problem against them. Let them go and convince the people who elected them that they'll work for their best interest, that they will not put their stomachs first, that they will not be used by William Ruto against the community. Because what is annoying the community is when the president has put people together in a meeting to abuse the community and call them tribalists and call them stupid and call them primitive. Members of parliament and senate from our area normally clap for him. Our people are very bitter because of that one. So if they can go and convince the people that they mean well, that they have reformed, that they will not betray them, that they have changed their character, that they can be relied upon to defend them and their interests, fine. Yesterday I was in Meru. Mother Kome is being fought by the president. The senator is not speaking. The MPs are not speaking. People are bitter. You know, people are livid. And they are waiting for them in 2027 because they are saying, how can our daughter be ostracized? And you are there clapping for the man who is doing that and you are doing nothing about it. So another communities don't do that. And they are saying, they have noted, they looked at what happened in the defense of Wetangula by the people of Western. They looked at how Nurdin Haji was defended by the people from Northeastern Province. Okay. But the people of the mountain, the president is using them against their own people by paying them small money. So they have a big problem with the people, not with me.
Okay.
So it's not me who is campaigning them. It is the people who tell me we want nothing to do with those characters. Who am I? Me, I'm a servant of the people. I listen to the people.
Okay, well noted. So you seem to hint that perhaps a grand coalition like NAC in 2002 might be in the offing. How do you ensure all your interests are aligned? Because if you fool me once, shame on me. If you fool me twice, shame on you.
That's why I'm developing
a political.
And I'm happy. In fact, this is God sent. I have 2 years. I have time to craft a very serious political party. And by the way, I do admire Raila Odinga and ODM. We may have had problems with Raila Odinga, but give it to him. He crafted a very serious political machine that has been there for 20 years. Again, the quality of leaders that are elected at the ODM is admirable. In fact, I will be going to ODM for benchmarking. I must talk to Raila Odinga. I must ask him, Mzee, how did you craft this machine? How have you kept it going for 20 years? You know, ODM is admirable. So I have 2 years to craft a very serious political machine. I'll make sure that in whatever coalition we go with whoever, our interests are well anchored through a watertight agreement so that again nobody will ever deceive us. Okay. We are all feeling very foolish as a people. In fact, one of the burden that I carry that is very heavy on me, that sometimes weighs me down, is just how foolish I feel at times. That I was deceived by Ruto because he was a Christian, he came with the Bible, I believed him. I never even asked we sign anything. I was so naive, I was so trusting. I sometimes it weighs me down, I cry at night. How foolish could I have been? And I'm a student of political science. But we say once bitten, twice shy. This time we'll be careful. I have very serious elders who advise me. I have very serious former civil servants who advise me. I have professionals, I take advice because I made wrong decisions and I sank my people into shame. I sank my people into desperation. God giving me another chance. I will not repeat that mistake. It's a commitment that I've given to my people that I'll be very, very careful in whatever arrangement I get into. It must be watertight. I must have very proper professional advice by lawyers, by people who have been in politics. Okay. And that consultation is going on day and night. You know, I sleep past midnight every day. I consult and I'll continue consulting. And from next week now, I'm consulting other regions because we want to work with the people of Kenya. Forget about what people say that I'm tribal. You know, Roger, you know Rogers, eh?
I don't say politics is local.
Politics is local. Let me tell you. How do you go to organize your neighbor's house when yours is in disorder? You first organize your house, your wife, your children, you make sure you are talking the same language, then you go and visit the neighbor. But you cannot leave your house, your wife is sleeping in a different bedroom, your children are not talking to each other, then you are going to the neighbor to tell them how they should stay together as a family. So I needed first to put my house in order. That's what a clever politician does. And I have done that successfully. Okay. Now that I have completed the unity of my people, and by the way, the President tried to divide Mount Kenya East and West. I stopped him and I will never allow him. It will never happen. And that is why Embu is a no-go zone for him. And that is Mount Kenya East. You know, he sends condolence messages there, they are rejected. And that is Mount Kenya East because the mountain people are clever and they know their strength is their unity. So now that I have more or less completed 98% uniting my people to speak the same language, to have a single political party that is strong, now we are reaching out to other Kenyans, like-minded Kenyans, so that we can work together.
Do you think you will shake off that regional tag, that tribalist tag?
I don't need to shake it because it's not a bad tag. It's an identity. I'm Kikuyu, so but I did not apply.
True.
To be born a Kikuyu. I did not apply to be born a Kikuyu. There is no crime I have committed by being Kikuyu. And there is no crime I'll commit by loving my people. There is no crime I'll commit by asking our people that we be united, because that's what all other people are doing. But it is only bad when it's done by the mountaineers. But when the Western people come together, that is regional integration.
But to those who question your ability to rise above regional politics, to lead a country from a national point of view, not a regional point of view, what do you tell them?
Rogers, I want to ask you, when I called a press conference in Mombasa to divert the Gen Z when William Ruto and the government were killing them, those Gen Z, were they Kikuyu? They were the children of Kenya. That is nationalism. When I was deputy president, I made sure that people of northeastern Kenya, nobody died from hunger. I have been to Mandera, to Wajir, to Garissa, distributing food, making sure the people of those regions are secure. When I defend the payslip holders, you know the payslip holders, their payslips have been impeached by William Ruto. They are very helpless. Their purchasing power has been eroded, and that is why the economy is crumbling. Because when you erode the payslip, that's the middle class, you diminish their purchasing power. Then nothing goes on. There is no money in circulation. And I am saying we must form a government to rescue the payslip. We must dignify the payslip. And when we form the new government, one of the things that we must do, and whoever wants to be in coalition with me and my people, one of the things we must agree is that we must do away with housing levy, because it's not the business of government to build houses. It's a business of government to build roads, to provide water, electricity connectivity, to make sure there is a good working health system, to ensure people have security. That's the work of government. So these are some of the things we are going to do. So when I talk about the payslip holders, are those Kikuyus? They are the people of Kenya. My national credentials are good. It is only that President William Ruto has tried to create a narrative to kill my brand by branding me as tribal. Yet when I was supporting him, when I was mobilizing the Gema nation to support him, he used to call me all sorts of good names. He was fond of me. He would say how good I am, how people-centered I am. It's only when we don't agree, he says I'm a tribalist. This tribal tag that people try to put to me is a creation of William Ruto. Just the way he convinced us that Raila is a witch doctor. He's a lot of poverty. Now that they are with Raila, he has now zeroed in on Rigathi Gachagua as a tribalist. He says I'm primitive, I'm retrogressive, I'm incompetent. He's very good with words, and he's very persuasive. He's very abusive. You remember the abuses he gave against William Ruto. Those are the same now abuses he has targeting me. Every election he must have a target. Last election, the object of hatred created by William Ruto was Raila Odinga. He's a witch doctor. He doesn't go to church. He is the Lord of poverty. He is clueless. He has no plan. Now, this coming election of 2027, the whole game plan is Rigathi Gachagua. He's a tribalist, huyu ni mtu wa shares, huyu wa nini. But people are also very intelligent. People are very intelligent,
okay.
And they know now what they can trust and what they cannot trust. You can fool some people sometime,
but not all the people.
But you cannot fool all the people all the time. People have known William Ruto now. Okay. He's been unmasked. Those insults he gives against people, nobody now can believe him, because he's the one who told us Raila is a witch doctor. Today, 2 years down the line, he is saying Raila is the best man in Africa. So whatever he says now has no value. If in the unfortunate event, God forbid,
okay,
I went back to William Ruto and we patched up, he would now say Rigathi Gachagua is a nationalist. And now he's saying today I'm tribal. I am not tribal. That is a tag that William Ruto has tried to put on me, and in the fullness of time, the people of Kenya will know who Rigathi Gachagua is. They will know what I believe in. And many people, by the way, believe me because I'm truthful. In difficult circumstances, when this country was burning, when the president said Gen Zs are criminals, is Rigathi Gachagua who called a press conference and said, no, these are our children, they are our sons and daughters, and they should not be killed, they should not be abducted, they should be listened to.
Since we have adequate time till 11 p.m., I just want to take you back